I'm not sure if this has become obvious to any of you or not, but I'm not very good at doing non-spoiler reviews, and that's probably most evident by the fact that I've never bothered to try to make a non-spoiler review. But in the spirit of this being a movie, I thought I'd give some attempt to that. So if you like colorfully loud fights that are, coupled with really, really good music, and you can kind of look past a pretty mediocre plot, in my opinion, then I think it's a good idea to just give it a try. Now, as far as spoiling the shit out of it, I'll start with negatives, just because I'd rather end on a higher note, because I don't think the movie is like complete dog shit. But there's parts of it that make watching it more than once, which I did. I watched it twice, or like two and a half, if you can count watching like the beginning in class one day. But it makes watching it over again feel taxing, because when you get to those bits of plot that are really boring, it just becomes kind of like a break to go get something to drink or go take a piss or something. Which was disappointing because the movie starts out really fun. It has a real fun start, but after that opening action scene, you get to hang out with the characters. It's just like, really beating me over the head with the message it's going for, and the characters don't really carry that on their back very well. And that kind of goes into a different complaint I had, where when there isn't like bombastic, fun action or music going on, the plot just feels boring. And after you see that action scene, you get, like I said, you're hanging out with the characters at a pizza shop or whatever, and they see this, I forgot what they're called, but the fire people. It's a shit way to call them, but you see them you see one of them get taken by the evil corporation or whatever, and that scene is cool because it could set up the characters for something more important, but all the characters we're introduced with in the beginning, aside from Gallo, pretty much become useless towards the rest of the movie as soon as Leo becomes a more prominent character, which I wouldn't really mind. Movies do that all the time. I would be completely okay with that if they didn't give them title cards and name things as if they're meant to be important. That's what makes me like confused, like what's the point in doing that if clearly their names don't mean shit by the end of it. And as far as where the characters were introduced with in the beginning, I think Gallo is one of the more weaker characters among all of them, ironically. Like Aina, Lucia, Ignis, Varys, and Remy were all way stronger characters, and I would have probably like to see more of them than Gallo, just because Gallo gives me that vibe of the traditional loud protagonist, which I like sometimes, I'm not gonna lie to you, and sometimes I don't, and this just happens to be one of the times I don't. And I watched it in English. I don't know if that's a sin or anything, but I watched it in English, and his character always says this line about a burning soul or whatever, and I guarantee you that shit becomes more cringe every time you hear it. My feelings towards Gallo also bleed into the main villain, Cray Foreskin, who has a backstory that kind of bleeds into Gallo's backstory, which is fine or whatever, movies, it's whatever. It's just a pretty weak connection they have, in my opinion. And Cray is a decent villain. He's not like the best villain, and he's not memorable by any means, but he works for the movie he's in. So that's probably more of a positive than a negative, but still kind of a negative. And I've alluded to the character before, but the Deus Ex Machina character might be the worst thing in this movie, partly because of how he acts as a Deus Ex Machina, and because the characters are put into a position where they cannot possibly continue the plot, and that character only exists to give really boring exposition. I might throw in, I had a friend who almost fell asleep when we were watching it, but he only exists to give you that exposition that you need in the third act, and to give Gallo and Leo a big mech so they can kind of brush fists with Cray Foreskin. But to keep from being too negative, there are, like I said, mentioned before, there are things I really love. I love the color and the art style in this movie. It made it a joy to watch, even through those boring scenes. When I watched it a few weeks or months ago, whatever the fuck it was, that opening scene was probably the prettiest shit I had ever seen for a while, from an animated movie. But I don't know if that means much for me. I don't watch animated movies. It's still a compliment though. And despite my negatives about the plot, it is still a fun movie to watch on your first viewing regardless. So I won't take that away from the movie. It is a fun experience. And to again go back to a different negative I had earlier, the main villain's mech was probably cooler than the main villain himself. Like how it was built to terraform the new Earth they're going to, since the one they're on is gonna like blow up or whatever the fuck. The fact that all his moves were like meant to terraform and stuff, I found it like the best character writing they've done in the entire movie, in my opinion. And as if I haven't shit on Gallo as a character enough, I think Leo is an infinitely better character than Gallo, just because he has more understandable motivations and you can get behind his goal and what he's going for and what he's trying to do. And when he gets betrayed by that dumb little old man who gets captured anyway, by the way, you do feel bad and you feel like shit because you know they're gonna go get tortured and be used as fuel for some big rocket or whatever. And then when that leads into him transforming into this huge fire dragon, it makes the movie feel like it has weight to it. And then Gallo comes in and ruins that entire scene somehow. And even in that ending fight, which looks amazing, by the way, I felt like if you just had Leo run the mech himself, there's no reason for Gallo to even be there. Like, Leo literally makes him a weapon to use because he's losing. But yeah, I didn't mean to shit on Gallo again for how much I dislike him as a character and how much I think he ruins the movie. But overall, like I said in my elevator pitch, I'm gonna try to find a better name for that just so it has more character to it. But like I said in my in the beginning of the video, it is a fun movie with good music if you can just look past how mediocre the plot is and how dumb it just feels sometimes. Like, occasionally it can feel insultingly dumb, but if you just look past it and just enjoy the pretty throw-uppy colors, it is a enjoyable time. Just wanted to throw in at the end that I will try to go back to making more consistent videos. I stopped for like a month because school decided to be hard. Not that anyone expects math to be easy by any means, but you know, it is what it is. I did, however, finish The Hobbit, so I'll try to make a review about that. Or I'll throw in a different video before if I don't want that many negative reviews stacked back together. Not that that'll be a negative review or anything, it's just it won't be as a good review as the other books I've read, to spoil the review for anyone who's sitting, biting their nails waiting for it. And there's obviously a million One Piece videos I want to make, but none that I actually feel like making, if that makes any sense. And I'm playing through Demon Souls right now and I want to make a video about that. But I had an idea to just platinum it and then talk about it, so I have a full grasp of what I want to talk about regarding that. I don't think I'll talk about it the same way I do most of the review shit I do, and I am trying to figure out a different format to talk about it just because I don't know if this feels the same for you, but talking about it in this kind of way feels a little boring sometimes. Like, I do want to find a more way that's enjoyable to watch and to make for myself, so I'll see what I do about that. As far as the gameplay in the background, I have no idea what the fuck I'm gonna put back there. Maybe I'm gonna reuse some old Monster Hunter footage because my Demon Souls footage is dog shit because I'm really bad at the game. But yeah, that's about it. See ya.